I Love Lamp will continue to San Francisco. Simple Tinkers will go home. We'll see them return in Season 6. We're getting ready for eLevate versus Hammer Time. Only one team will move on to San Fran. One team goes home. And honestly, Randall, I think it can go either way.
It really can. Hammer Time's such a consistent team that's just been very quietly going through the entire season and just smashing everyone in their way. A few times not getting that win that they wanted, but they were almost there, that first, second place.
They
now,
were.
eLevate really just had to try and climb the entire time, just going up and up and up. They never really dropped, but they just kept trying to climb in the standings little by little all the season. They're finally here, finally put against Hammer Time.
And they found themselves. I feel they found their strengths this season. We want to hear from you what you think about these two teams, what you think about the playoffs, and are you going to San Francisco? Let us know on social media at WGLNA on Twitter, Facebook.com/WGLNA, and make sure to use that hashtag WGLNA so we can find your tweets and put them up on the broadcast.
And then, of course, there is a question of the day, and that one is, what was your favorite moment from Season 5 so far?
Well, that's a big question, though. That's a big question. There's been a lot of great moments, a lot of great Goombas, a lot of great comebacks, and perhaps maybe this next match will be one of our favorite moments.
I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah, well, definitely that eLevate versus Roulette matchup on Tuesday was huge. That was a do-or-die scenario, and eLevate was down 1-3 against Roulette, and then they came back for the victory. I can only imagine what comms was like for that team.
Yeah,
if they're able to do the same thing tonight, I'm sure they're going to go haywire.
Yeah, and I think any of the I Love Lamp stuff, I think when you look back on some of the eLevate matches, there's some Hammer Time early season stuff that you definitely should pay attention to if you get a chance to. That was, yeah, that's what you should be looking for if you want to study these teams and look at good play. Now, things have changed a little bit throughout the season. Hammer Time's early season play has shifted a little bit in the opposite direction. I shouldn't say opposite direction, a different direction as it's kind of updated with the meta.
Yeah.
You know,
they didn't
every
do
team,
a full 180. No,
they didn't turn from pretty good to bad. No, they kind of shifted direction and went down a very different path. That's what I'm looking forward to trying to say.
Well, you can say the same thing about Roulette, who now is no longer going to be joining us in San Fran because they couldn't beat eLevate. But you look at the ups and downs throughout the entire journey of Season 5 and how every team was starting more or less on the same play field with the 7x54 changes. Some teams acclimated very well. Some teams are having a little bit of trouble trying to find out what really works, especially on maps like Morovanka. But I would have to see the acceleration of intelligence when it comes to intelligent play, even rivaling that of the Cunninghams, who's been the intelligent team, kind of how to describe them, has been really phenomenal to see, especially from our freshman teams. Well, eLevate and Hammer Time are standing by now for the face-off with their team representatives. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going very well. Liebestad, let's start with you. So you've been here before. You've made it this far before into this final type of scenario. What's different this time in Season 5 for Hammer Time in this position?
Well, I guess that's a tough question. There's nothing really different. It's pressure. We're up. You know, we proved that we're one of the better teams, but we haven't yet proved that we're one of the best teams. So we're in a very familiar place. I don't really think it's too familiar. Hopefully this time we can actually take the leap and make it to the next level.
Well, there's always that hopefully, there's always that next time, but that next time is right now for your team. Let's go ahead and check in with your opponents. eLevate, we have Zoid standing by. Zoid, that comeback against Roulette was fantastic. Tell me, what was that like for your team? What was comms like, and how did you celebrate that victory?
It was intense. My heart stopped at least 5 times during that match. And, you know, I was listening in, and I could not tell in those Himmelsdorf matches if we were winning or losing. So finally, when we heard that congratulations eLevate at the end, you know, we flipped out. We were ecstatic.
Tonight, you have one match dividing you from San Francisco. Your opponents are Hammer Time. Do you have any words for your opponents tonight?
Good luck, have fun. We really respect Hammer Time as a team, and we're looking forward to playing them tonight and hopefully making our way to San Francisco.
Liebestad, any words?
I've been watching Burn All Empires ever since the NVIDIA tournament, where they did really well, and I've been watching eLevate ever since Zoid appeared about a year ago. I thought, well, he'll probably never be in the Gold League. I'll never have to play against him. And well, here he is. So, you know, gotta we got to show that we're the more experienced team and we'll win. Congratulations to them for making it this far, but hopefully no further.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Best of luck. We'll see you on the battlefield.
All right, later.
Good luck.
You can see Zoid going, no.
He's like,
see it in his
oh.
face of Liebestad, we're going to destroy you.
Oh, you would drop something like that, Leverstad. Okay. He realized what he was building for a moment later.
That subtlety is a lot of fun to watch. And Zoid and Liebestad have been very articulate in their face-offs. So we'd like to thank them for that as well. Also, Team Fear and Laps from Sim. Always fun to see those guys. Make sure to place your bets right now, ladies and gentlemen, in the Twitch chat. If you have any questions on how betting works for the points that are available to you, everybody starts with 10 points. More questions you can ask the people in Twitch chat. Badco and Earwaxian are standing by, along with Nikki, our social media correspondent. You can check out WGLConnect.com, WGLConnect.com to see where you stand on the leaderboard. Top point performers will take home a nice little prize tonight, one lucky winner. I look forward to this matchup, Randall. It's our final match in the playoffs.
Yeah.
After this, we know who's going to San Francisco. We know from these two rosters who's going to be joining us at the Folsom Street Foundry.
Now, from eLevate, there's been a few players to pay attention to. If we see Artie, you see Zoid. If not, looking back, he hasn't played that much aside from just Artillery, that one tank. Serenity 17, Azrael, 2 players to watch out for on eLevate. If they're performing well today, if they do their jobs, victories for eLevate. Hammer Time, if Drynitz is on the battlefield, if NYPD plays it right, then you're looking at a good fight ahead of us.
Match number 2 of the night, the final playoff match. eLevate versus Hammer Time. Battle number 1 will take place on Cliff. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, we have 2 1390s, an RU-251, T-54 lightweight, T-49, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. That is eLevate, the red team attacking Hammer Time. The blue team defending will have a 1390, 2 RU-251s, a T-54 lightweight, a T-49, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. The only difference in these two teams, an extra 1390 for eLevate, an extra RU-251 for Hammer Time. Hammer Time taking more consistent fire, and eLevate going for a burst. But the engagement has already started. Urtai is taking fire onto Zazie as well. And in the engagement, you have Zazie at 229 and Urtai at 321 hit points. A little bit of a lead in favor of eLevate.
Quite the opening from both these teams. Big Cheese.
Oh, but look at this. G-Forcer, as he gets into the high ground, has found himself against 4 light tanks from Hammer Time who are sitting there waiting for him. And on the low ground, Drynitz and Zazie could move around.
Big Cheese looking for a big shot against Zone Delta or Static. Now 3 tanks are in the center. And if Hammer Time or eLevate find out which side is overmatching which side, they can engage. Big shot coming from NYPD against Zone Delta. He's going to back up a bit from the rocks, and a shot into the ground coming from Big Cheese.
And that looks like if the trigger is pulled, you got to push around. G-Forcer is getting jumped on from the low ground and from the high ground. He backs off, trying to put as much distance between him and the opponents, but he's not going to stay alive very long. That is also going to be the high ground in favor of eLevate. Hammer Time throwing many of their tanks in the low ground, but they have the force ready to deal with this.
Blue team Hammer Time still holding around the donut, the big rock we like to call outside of the tanks area. Nitz is destroyed by Zone Delta for a big shot. NYPD is low.
You got that T-49 doing his job. Now Static moving around to the north. That 1390 is going to keep a lot of tanks at bay. That's going to force Hammer Time to decide where to go. They have to start a fight. And they're going to leave Zagarman behind in favor of jumping on Serenity and Zone Delta. Zone Delta fires but does not get the hit. And you're going to see Hammer Time losing momentum here.
Zazie still firing. Now he's on the reload as well. So is Static. And Zagarman is past halfway. And eLevate continues to press forward. Hammer Time losing another tank. Zone Delta shuts that down. And Zazie's the last tank alive on the battlefield for Hammer Time. eLevate is poised to take the first battle. Serenity 17 gets the kill. And eLevate takes battle number 1.
Well played. It was well played by eLevate. Hammer Time made the mistake of jumping into a low ground. And that was where they lost their ability to come back in this fight. They couldn't go north-south. Wasn't going to work. When they climbed back up, they found that their opponent was sitting there ready for them. And I think that G-Forcer jumping in the low ground like he did to pull all of Hammer Time's tanks into that direction was perfect. It's exactly what needed to happen. and Hammer Time fell for it.
He's like that sidekick that sacrifices himself so the hero of the story can make it on, you know.
Fly,
you
fools.
Yeah, I really loved how he pulled all that attention away, and it fed the rest of his team. Like, here's some tanks to kill, guys. Here you go. Hammer Time has to be a little bit more heads up in that type of scenario. But Cliff is that type of map where things can get really quickly disorganized and chaotic, and then fall back into a pacing, and then get more chaotic later on.
I mean, if Big Cheese, he was the T-49 that didn't get any damage, unfortunately. If he'd managed to get a connection in the middle of the map, if he'd managed to deal, a few hundred damage in one shell or two shells, that could have been a very different fight as well. That could have shifted the momentum. The eLevate tanks might not have been able to respond properly, or they could have lost a single tank altogether. T-49s can have that high variance performance or very low. But we saw the absolute low in this situation where Big Cheese was unable to accomplish anything, and that really hurt Hammer Time.
Well, it's a big accomplishment for eLevate on the attack, at least at the beginning. But anything can still happen as we move into battle number 2. eLevate is up 1-0. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
We have two 1390s against two 1390s. RU against RU. T54 versus T54. T49s. And two M41s for either side. It is a mirror matchup, Josh.
Let's say it once for the audience. Mirror matchup.
Matchup.
As we move into battle 2, opening run coming from the blue team. Hammer Time to the north. We're going to head towards the center.
And the opening move from eLevate looks like they're going to head east. Urtai alone heading west in the M41 Walker Bulldog. Notice that most M41s in this format utilize the autoloader as their option, deciding that because they're going to be getting in more brief engagements where they need to fire quicker, they need to use something that's going to have a lot of damage for a very small amount of time, and then they can afford the approximately 30-second reload.
Possible up and overs happening here. Zone Delta may have a bead on Big Cheese. He keeps going forward.
Not quite.
Zone Delta backed up a little bit. There's a shot from photo finish. No connection.
But look at Serenity, the RU-251 just jumping right up and over, but Zazie and Drynitz into the backfield. That's going to be an up and over. As they get around the corner, first tank they find is going to be a nice distraction. Looks like Azrael's going to be the first target. And as he recognizes what's going on, so do the rest of eLevate.
Boom. Azrael's gone. Shot from Zone Delta hits the track, so photo finish does not connect. But Big Cheese with a big shot takes down Zone Delta. Overlord Prime is hit for half health, and NYPD's falling back because he's getting peppered as well. eLevate's trying to push into the forces of Hammer Time, and can they get another kill? Overlord Prime is down.
They're not dealing any damage right now. Look at the rest of the tanks. Finally, Serenity is taking a hit on the high ground, but the rest of eLevate was in such a layout that the concentrated push of Hammer Time, after getting Zone Delta and Azrael, found no other tanks in the immediate area. They'd actually run past everything, and now they have to try and regroup, realizing that, well, we got 2 kills, but there's no more bad guys over here.
Swinging to the east, Drynitz leads Nitz and Zazie, followed by photo finish.
They've left Big Cheese alone. Look at it. He doesn't have anyone here beside him. And so that's going to allow G-Forcer and Battle Buddy Urtai. Urtai might take a big hit that, but no. And so Big Cheese is going to be able to go down in this instance, which is going to be huge.
2 more shots. Urtai needs to land this shot to get it. Nope. Big Cheese is going to get away. And Urtai may pay the ultimate price for this, but Drynitz is getting hit as well. Big Cheese is gone. Beautiful shot by Serenity 17.
But he's going to fall down the hill for it. That's going to need
And he fires on NYPD after he lands. NYPD goes down. Urtai was destroyed as well in the firefight. There goes Serenity 17, but the traded fire from Zagarman takes down Zazie. G-Forcer falls back. He's 1 shot away from going down.
More, he will go down. Static from long range is going to get a few shells out there. And Zagarman is looking for one onto Nitz as well. Photo finish needs to be the focus, and both of these players need to reload quickly. They do not possess enough damage to deal that 908. That's 240, and then probably about 400 or 500 damage between the two of them. But if Static makes this connection, he does not. Zagarman's going to have to do it. They're both on reload. 30 seconds for Zagarman, about 40 for Static. Little distance is all they need.
And as they try to get down below, past the Donut Rock, Nitz and photo finish will possibly divide forces. Time not necessarily in their favor yet. 3 minutes and 38 seconds for the attackers to find these tanks. 614 hit points for Hammer Time, 1,861 for eLevate. If they land their shots, they will get this, and eLevate will take the lead. However, Hammer Time can be dodgy. and they can try to avoid eLevate's tanks for the victory as well.
Exactly. Now, something I need to point out that Static and Zagarman did right before they went dark, which is after they were spotted for a time. Now they're invisible. They made sure to appear as though they were going to go north, which was a huge tell, but decided to hold off after the about 10, 12 seconds that they needed for themselves to not be spotted anymore. That dead time of not showing up anywhere, not making a presence, fantastic for eLevate, and that puts a little confusion for Hammer Time. And it makes you a little bit antsy because you don't know where they are. You don't know where they're going to show up, anything like that. And now, as Static inches up, looking towards the hill, Nitz is going to be too far away to be spotted, but it's going to verify that nothing is in the immediate area. Now, he's going to go further north, and you'll see that Zagarman is looking towards the hill. So he's going to be watching for Nitz to begin engaging from that direction. Static's going to begin engaging against Photo Finish, and that's going to be a very quick kill. Very nice.
Oh,
Taking
long
a little
range
cover.
shot from Nitz.
But he needs to close the distance. He needs to get that spotting. And a few jukes wouldn't do him any harm.
213. eLevate's got a... Zagarman's not moving. Oh, he's trying to climb the hill, isn't he?
Yeah,
there he is. There he is.
It's a
Okay.
very delicate little operation to get up the hill.
Come on,
because he
Zagarman.
ran into the perfect divot that's going to hurt him. He's got to do the little turning trick. There you go. You just turn on the on terrain that is uneven like that. If you can't climb up, you turn. Sometimes your track will catch on a higher piece of ground. You can get traction, so then you can just drive up and over.
Nitz will be fleeing. Zagarman will join Static on the fly cap.
Now timing, 88 seconds. Once Zagarman gets on, that'll be half that, which means that Nitz, will he have misjudged this?
Possibly, or Nitz could be playing the, we're not going to win
No,
this.
he realizes now.
But possibly stay away, so if it does go to a tiebreaker, they won't factor that damage.
Oh, or the time in the win.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe that's it. Or he misjudged the timing, and that's why he's going back now.
25 seconds left for him to reach the other side of that flag cap.
He
I
can't.
don't think he's going to make it.
Mm-mm.
No, 20 seconds left, and he's still trying to round the first rock. eLevate, very close to taking this.
Unless they cut off cap.
I don't think they would.
That'd be pretty funny, wouldn't
That
it?
would not happen.
That
Hopefully not.
I mean,
5
Simple
seconds
Tankers
left.
did it once.
Nitz starting to roundabout. He's getting around the rocks. Can he get a blind shot almost in time?
No, I don't think so.
Firing for a hit. Doesn't get the connection. Waiting for the admin to confirm. Oh, there is a
What?
connection. There is a reset
no
for 42
way.
seconds. Nitz barely has any health left.
Well,
13 seconds left.
And Static's got most of the cap points. He hasn't taken any damage. If Zagarman gets hit,
Ooh, nice shot by Zagarman, trying to keep Nitz suppressed. Nitz is going to inch closer.
he can
One
keep
more
firing
shot.
at this
One
angle.
more shot, Zagarman. Oh, it actually bounces off. There's another reset,
the
but
kill.
the destruction. Nice shot from Zagarman. And that's going to do it for battle number 2. I loved how he went, I'm going to keep firing, man. I'm going to keep firing.
That's why you bring the autoloader. You
Yeah.
have a lot of shells for a brief amount of time as opposed to the consistent fire, which you leave a larger window between your shells. So you continue putting that covering fire in that position. Your opponent then has to respect that. You see him try to. You see him realize, I can't just not peek out because he's firing. I have to hope that I can make that connection and get that kill. But this fight from Hammer Time, you have to give it to them. They tried really hard with this. This is a complete surprise. eLevate is not expecting it. They catch these tanks off guard. Everything's going for them, but unfortunately for them, eLevate is very spread out, which, while that can't seem weak and it makes it easy to press in and get a few tanks early, the tanks that are covering them from various other angles are able to deal damage. So they never found a lead that was quite big enough, which ends up hurting them in the end, because eLevate just outplays them like that. The individual players did their job so well. And Serenity 17, a player that has always been good, and post-game stats, of course. Serenity 17, 1,403. Static 1,498, 1,800, 1,800 for Urtai at the top. So great job from the eLevate players. All of them putting up good damage, playing exactly as they should.
Battle number 3, eLevate leads 2-0 against Hammer Time. We're still on Cliff. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Well, we've got that mirror matchup one more time. 2 1390s, RU251, T54, T49, 2 M41s for either side. So again, it's going to be much like the last battle. We'll see how both of these teams try and bring those tanks to the battlefield and really make them shine. T54s are finding their place. RUs, 1390s, that T49, all of them have their place here. But there's so many variations that these teams can bring. Of course, the T49 can go to the middle, right? But the T54 could go west, it could go east, it can play around in the middle. It can even get up on the hill, even though that's not as ideal as putting the RU up there. The M41s have such flexibility and the ability to fight from almost any place on the battlefield.
And they were an underestimated tank because they were a new tank. It was still getting acclimated when it came to the tank selection process and 7x54 by everybody. But once we started to see the M41 Bulldog do its job so very well, that has been an exciting time to see a light tank perform at this level.
It's like the Chaffee that we always dreamed of.
Sure.
Back in the day, we had the Chaffee, and it was a good Tier 5 light tank. It was good. It wasn't as great as the T52 kind of a thing, but when it was allowed to do its job, it did it. And this is just like it. Of course, I think it is actually a further variation upon the concept of the Chaffee.
Zone Delta takes the first hit.
And we've got Urtai and Zagarman on the flank trying to fire in on tanks if they can, but not getting connections quite yet.
Look at this push. Here comes eLevate, and they're focusing on Dryness, who will fall back and fall prey to Urtai and Zagarman. G-Forcer continues to move forward. Big Cheese gets a big shot on G-Forcer, but it's not enough. G-Forcer does fall, but Big Cheese is low, and eLevate takes their time landing the shots. Azrael 90 and the 1390 is getting hit next. He needs to get behind cover, but Nitz is poking around the corner, and he gets the kill. Static and Serenity 17 are going to focus on photo finish, and Nitz as NYPD moves up. Zone Delta's waiting for the reload, and here comes Urtai, and a big shot coming from Zone Delta. Not sure if that connected.
No, not nearly doing the damage he needed to. And there goes Serenity. Zagarman's in the backfield. Urtai has no one here beside him. He's going to try to pull out so that he can at least re-engage later. Zagarman, though, one shell left against NYPD. He's going to have to escape. Static on the reload is left behind to, well, he's dead.
A lot of reloads. A lot of reloads happening at once. Yeah. Zone Delta is loaded. Urtai's waiting on the reload. Photo finish is one shot away from going down, especially from Zone Delta. Urtai is hit. He's tracked. Now he's loaded. And Zone Delta gets sniped by Zazie. Big hit. Photo finish takes down Urtai. Zagarman's last tank left alive here for eLevate.
Well, that didn't go very well. Actually, it kind of went worse for them than it did for Hammer Time when they tried.
Yeah, it definitely did. Well, Hammer Time will finally put a point on the board as the attacker. eLevate was attacking both times before, so that means it's been all attacking points. I liked what what Zagarman and I think Urtai did towards the south, but the push happening sort of worked. Dryness takes a couple hits, but from here, eLevate, G-Forcer takes a big shot, and then they start getting punished right around this house when they're focusing on Big Cheese.
It's because they swing east and their enemy is all west, so they've got rear armor to these tanks. They are not able to engage them. Notice, Zazie, NYPD, Nitz, all three of them don't take any damage for a while, and the eLevate tanks are for a while. So it's eLevate making the same mistake Hammer Time did, engaging against a force that is not concentrated enough for you to just envelop and focus down. Most of your shells are going to be missed because you're trying to fire at distances on the move. It's a situation where I don't think they should have stopped. They should have just kept going, put the distance between them and Hammer Time, and then brought it back around for another engagement. Trying to stay where you are, there's no advantages, there's no high ground, there's nothing. It's just a bad position to die in.
Not a fun place to be.
No, it pretty much was horrible.
Can't expose your tank, the weakest point of the tank, to the rest of the enemy team. It's tough. If you keep cruising forward and then you think, all right, we can get a shot on the run and take down Big Cheese, and you're able to successfully get away from the fire, definitely can see that as a possibility.
Sure.
But Hammer Time was ready and willing to land those shots against the enemy. Battle number 4, the final map here for Cliff before we move to Steps. Elevates up 2-1. What do you have for tanks, Ram?
All right, same thing again. 2 1390s, RU251, T54 Lightweight, and T49 and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs for both sides. Mirror matchup for the final go on Cliff. Now, eLevate is up 2-1. Hammer Time's got their final chance here to win on the attack. And then eLevate has defense, which, if you think about it, eLevate's never been a team known for their defensive play, have they? They've always been known for the attack.
They don't try to pigeonhole themselves as that. But some tankers, some teams that were more known for defense, at least the 7x42, have had to step up to the plate to move, to get into the face of the enemy rather than waiting for them to come in.
And this opening move, you've got a lot of tanks in the west. Serenity 17, G-Forces, a Garmin Urtai, so that's the M41s, a T-54 lightweight, and where is that? Serenity 17 in the
Drynet's
RU,
poking out.
which is going to prompt a huge push down the middle from Hammer Time. They're going to go after Zone Delta, try and take him down as quickly as possible. And Zone Delta has to waste this shell on Photo Finish. It does 0 damage at all, and he goes down.
Static tries to continue to fire back against Photo Finish, at least take down one tank. He's one shot away from doing it. He can't get it, but G-Forcer cleans it up. That's 2 tanks for 1 in favor of eLevate. But look at Big Cheese and Drynet's. This is a reverse type of scenario where they're getting punished, pushing up towards Azrael 90.
Yeah, they tried to bring in something on the west. Not going to happen, not going to work. Azrael gets only 1 clip out, too, which is not what you're looking for in those 1390s. You need to get that second reload in. And the M41s, everyone else trying to make work happen, but there's a comically small amount of damage being dealt to Zazie.
Zazie finally falls. Overlord Prime could be the next target, and that will tie up the amount of tanks that are still left alive. Nitz is trying to get over there to help Overlord Prime, but he's on the reload. All he can be is a warm body right now, and there goes Overlord Prime. And that's going to tie up the tanks that are left alive and eLevate.
But look at the hit points. eLevate 2,840. Yep. Hammer Time has the reloads on their side and the tanks with damage. Big Cheese, low on hit points, but hits so very hard. Nitz, full health. Once he's reloaded, he's going to be able to just destroy 2 of these tanks. Serenity, it's probably the largest potential damage dealer right now. While Urtai has finished his reload, Zagarmin, while he's reloading, is worthless. Doesn't have any armor. He's got 729 hit points. Now he's loaded. That's awesome. eLevate has had enough time to recover, get in a good situation, and be prepared for this attack from Hammer Time, or the attack they're going to be forced to engage.
Yeah, they'll be forced to engage indeed. As the defenders, they could wait all day. Well, all day being in 4 minutes and 30 seconds for a victory. Hammer Time knows this. That's why they're assaulting over on the other flag cap.
It's a short day.
eLevate, a very short day. eLevate, cautious of which area they should push because of the coverage coming from Hammer Time. Notably, Big Cheese up on that mountaintop. 1 shot could devastate one of these tanks. Slowly moving out. G-Forcer will be first. Drynet's and NYPD.
Detected this yet.
Don't see him yet.
It's a good choice on the side to go. They might even be hidden from Nitz and NYPD, who do see them now.
Ooh, around the corner, 2 missed shots. Serenity 17 and Urtai crash into each other. But Serenity is able to dodge some of the hits from Hammer Time, but he goes down from Big Cheese. Here comes Zagarmin from the other side, focusing probably on NYPD first. He continues to move forward. Can he get the kill? He does, but he will probably fall because of it. He continues to fire towards Nitz, who may be on the reload.
Looks like his gun is damaged, so is his turret ring.
Zagarmin needs just a couple more shots. Drynet's gets taken down by G-Forcer, and that's it. 1 tank remains. That's Big Cheese up top. He fires for effect, does not land. 3 minutes and 20 seconds for eLevate to take this. They have it.
They do. That was an amazing recovery. Hit points is what really got them there. They were able to pay to get into a position. They were able to afford a huge loss in Serenity. I think he was one of the tanks I was banking on being able to deal the most damage, being a consistent fire, and on top of that, the HE damaging and having great pen, and also the heat being a consistent shell to depend on as
There's
well.
1 shot from G-Forcer up into the sky.
Don't know why he did that.
He's probably said, "Stay, Big Cheese, we're coming for you." 2 minutes and 46 seconds.
It's okay, Big Cheese. You have 2 minutes to do this, and your reload is only, what, 20, 25 seconds,
Plus,
depending on the condition of your tank?
Urtai.
Oh, Urtai's got it. He understands.
He's going to go long range.
Wait, Zagarmin? Zagarmin, please snipe the hill. I want to see this. I want to see that kind of a shell.
From that far away, let's go ahead and do the draw distance.
Yes, do
He's
it!
firing.
Yes!
Long range, Zagarmin trying to get a shot.
Please.
Oh, long range again. Can he hit?
Just Big Cheese knows where it's
Big
coming
Cheese is
from.
hiding behind that big white house.
I
It's
wanted
going
to
no
see
way.
that.
Zagarmin's going to continue to fire. This is a great time for G-Forcer to move up.
But
He could survive. Well, no,
doesn't
probably
want
not.
to.
Probably not.
He's got to stay close enough so if they get on the cap, he can do something about it. But if you want to go for the
That's
draw,
true. Yeah,
Zagarmin can be hidden.
eLevate is defending. They don't have to push in for the kill. They're waiting for Big Cheese.
And also,
Well, very smart from eLevate.
I kind of still want to see them fire at the hill, just to see the blind fire get a hit outside of draw range, outside of even your view range.
Well, if he landed that shot,
I've seen it happen
that
with
would,
people.
Yeah, definitely.
I've
but that
seen
would be-
people land shots at that range.
We have to check the record and see who's had the longest range shot.
I mean, that would probably be an artillery piece.
Okay, non-artillery.
Probably
Probably a T-32.
or a tank destroyer.
True.
Or a
Still, it's fun
5100
to watch,
on
right? Big
Himmelsdorf from the hill. Huh?
Yeah,
That makes sense.
that distance, definitely. That could be even 5100s. All right, Big Cheese is now leaving the White House.
Urtai is trying to blind fire the hill. Yes!
Oh, he's close.
No, he's way too high now. He doesn't know, though. He doesn't have him spotted. But when Big Cheese finds G-Forcers, Urtai will have
Here
a shot.
comes Big Cheese. G-Forcers
Surprise.
turning around. Oh, shot from Big Cheese only does 247 damage. Does a little bit of damage to his own tank. And he's bugging out of there quickly. Oh, he's tracked.
Goomba, Goomba, Goomba.
He's tracked. G-Force is coming for it. He wants it. He gets the ram damage.
Oh.
And eLevate takes battle number 4. We're going to move on to Steps after that. eLevate's 2 battles away from joining us in San Fran. Hammer Time on the back foot on the defense as well here, starting out on Steps. But they're in a tough spot as well.
I mean, eLevate's playing this really well. There's situations where it looks really rough for them, but they're managing to get the win. They've only made one huge mistake, and that was in imitating the same strategy that Hammer Time had just brought. So Hammer Time, having the perspective of their previous loss, was able to deflect. And now, when eLevate gives a little bit of room, they're easily able to tear apart Hammer Time after their pushes, which they have to draw out over these long distances. You're seeing them have to drive and drive and drive. They don't get to stop, settle their guns, and just open up on an opponent. This is taking them forever to finish these fights. eLevate on the other side of the map does the exact same thing, and they get the same kind of result, but more hit points at the end of it.
Zagarman, if he would have got that long-range shot, would have been great. But I'm loving how the M41 Bulldogs are being utilized. Zagarman, 1590 when it comes to hit point damage. He was 11 for 26, which makes sense because of the blind fire. But you're seeing the impact of these tanks, as we mentioned at the very beginning of this last battle. And now with Steps, most likely still get to see the M41, but we could also see possibly artillery between these two teams.
And these are two teams that will bring artillery. Both favor American. However, we could see Urtai and a GW Panther.
Possibly. As we move into battle number 5, eLevate has the lead 3-1 against Hammer Time here on Steps. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Well, no Artie this time. We've got, pay attention to this one, eLevate with 4 IS-6s, a Charioteer, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. All right, that's just fine. Just great. We've got a T-32, 2 1390s, 2 RU-251s, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs for Hammer Time. eLevate,
Wow.
I got to admit,
Wow, Randall.
Okay.
What is happening? That's
so
a lot of IS-6s.
we can try and rationalize this.
Spiritual successor to Velaccio from Top Tier. Formerly from Top Tier.
I'm just going to have to see what happens. It's really what it's going to come down to. I can see that there's plenty of damage in this. There's lots of armor, lots of hit points. If you look, 9K is pretty unusual as a hit point pool for an open map like Steps. And then the Charioteer, well, that's actually a tank that I have to say that I'm a fan of, but unfortunately a lot of other teams are not. But there's a lot of pros and cons.
One shot coming from Zagarman against Dry Knits. Oh, couple missed. There's a return fire against Zagarman.
Oh, Drynitz is in for it.
Oh, here come the parade of IS-6s moving across the battlefield. Zone Delta's in the rear guard, and Static takes a big hit for 459, but here comes Drynitz trying to maybe land a couple more shots against Static. He misses a big shot of 414 to his tank, and he gets hit from behind for 153. Can he get hit again? He does. Serenity 17.
There we go.
Gets
Don't want to
the
use
kill.
those IS-6 shells. They keep guns forward. And what's great is they're walking into a Hammer Time position where there's no crossfire on them yet. They're going to have to cross a great distance, I expect, but there's no tank up in Charlie Zero, up in that high ground to mess with them. There's no artillery to bomb them out. And there's only photo finish to try and do much.
To try to hold to allow Hammer Time to move into a position that they can give a great defensive play against eLevate, who's charging towards that flag cap and putting their tanks on the flag cap with those IS-6s. Photo finish still the closest tank there. Hammer Time, not much time to
that's perfect.
find a
Look at
different
this.
position. Here
Up
comes
and
Zagarman.
over. Start the fight. Do not let Hammer Time dictate when it's going to start and where. So focus down photo finish while you're going to have these fast reloads going on. Let's pick a light tank. Zagarman's out in front. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. You can afford to lose that. Now focus down NYPD, and from here it's going to be one by one. They will drop like dominoes.
Azrael 90 waiting for the reload. Static's going to focus on Big Cheese. They're calling their targets. Unfortunately, Static goes down. Urtai's going to push up against Big Cheese. Nitz is on the back foot. One more shot against Big Cheese. If it's a high roll, he could possibly go down. There goes Nitz. G-Forcer taking some shots from Zazie. He's on the reload as well. These consistent fire tanks, if they miss, they'll get punished for it. But when they hit, they're going to do significant amount of damage. Enough tanks still left alive here for eLevate to be a constant threat against Hammer Time. Zone Delta still alive as Azrael 90 gets the kill.
Good driving on him to just get his gun on target as quickly as possible. Does not have the best turret traverse, but his hull, the chassis, turns very, very quickly. So he used that to his advantage and also enabled an ally to get a shot on target to help him out.
Ooh, a bounce coming from G-Forcer, but Urtai's going to push forward against Zazie. The little tank that could will continue to try to hold as Big Cheese is away from the firefight and away from the flag. 3 minutes and 47 seconds. Plenty of time for eLevate to get on that flag, get the cap, but to also guard from Big Cheese's potential push coming from the north side. They don't know exactly where Big Cheese went, but he's still on the battlefield.
Now, problems here for Big Cheese. He has 314 hit points. The average shell damage from an IS-6 is 390. Even more so coming from a Charioteer. Now, he has a full drum, but a full drum from Big Cheese is not going to be able to deal 1,879 damage. It's 240.
Here he comes from
average.
the bottom of the valley.
So while he can try,
He's seen. Azrael's looking for the shot.
he's going to need a miracle.
Azrael's waiting patiently for the hit. Big Cheese rounding this small crest of the hill, getting closer. He sees his target, fires. It's a miss. Misses on both sides and destroyed. eLevate takes battle number 5, and they are one battle victory away from joining us in San Francisco. That worked. That IS-6 strategy worked.
You want to know why it worked? You brought more hit points, you brought some alpha, and you just smashed it. And Hammer Time made the mistake of trying to meet them. They tried to go up against someone who had spent literally their entire life going to the gym and picking things up and putting them down, and said, I would like to fight you in a boxing match. Which is a really great idea when all you do is gymnastics. So that did not work out well for Hammer Time. They did put up a strong fight for it, yes, but eLevate was favored in this. Their tank choices were favored for a brawl. Actually, really, it's just the tank choices are favored for a brawl, so when you get into a brawl, it's really easy to win. You can try to focus fire all you want as Hammer Time, but you need to put distance. They did not put distance on their opponent. While they could try to retreat, they brought a T-32. They'd leave him behind, and he went down with very little fight. Photo finish, to his credit, does 752 damage before going down.
But it's not enough. And that T-32 has to be that bastion to hold for the rest of Hammer Time to move. And as soon as eLevate started attacking, I thought, this is the best choice eLevate can make in this moment. And we've seen that happen a number of times in this series. And if they continue to make those right choices, they could possibly be unstoppable, making it to definitely the finals against whoever would take out I Love Lamp or Sim.
Yeah, and the Charioteer choice, the proving of the IS-6, the coordination with all of that is a really good practice in that for later. Something that a higher, more experienced team might be able to get to defeat. Hammer Time just not prepared because no one has seen that before.
Hammer Time still in the fight with one battle under their belt with a victory. eLevate one battle away from going to San Fran. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Well, we have a T-32 Pershing Charioteer 1392 RU-251s and AMX 13F3. Now, both teams will be bringing AMX 13F3s, T-32 for Hammer Time with two 1390s, 3 RU-251s. And that's going to be Drynitz in the AMX against Zoid in his. Who will win?
Who
is the
on?
greatest Artie?
Who goes home? Here's the opening movement coming from the blue team. Hammer Time sending Overlord Prime, Big Cheese, and Nitz to the south. Zazie will stay in the Charlie 8 section of the map. Drynitz has planted his feet in Alpha 8.
And where's he looking? Where is he looking? He is eyes south directly. They're expecting an eLevate engagement from that direction.
Now Hammer Time is on the defense for one more battle, and if they do win, Big Cheese and Nitz waiting in this section.
And now we're going to see eLevate start to get set up, get in the right positions. Zoid, I expect, will be in about Delta or Charlie 1, maybe up to Bravo if they feel aggressive enough. But they're going to lead with Zone Delta, which is odd, supporting with everyone else. I would not expect a tank destroyer to be the lead scout, the forward observer.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Or maybe they just said, Zoid, you're first.
Zoid, you go first. All right, photo finish is looking towards the west side.
They drew straws.
Shot out.
Nothing.
No connection.
No, nothing's out there. Now Zoid, I love the placement he's in. He's in the open like this. The ground, by the way, being it's a very brown, dead color, actually works against you. If you'll notice, in World of Tanks, tracers are a very yellow color. What's probably the worst backdrop to put that up against? Steps, Prohorovka. It actually does factor in. I know I've missed a few tracers where someone's like, I know I've seen that.
Trigger's been pulled, putting some tanks on the flag cap. Drynitz fires real wide towards Zone Delta's section, but that will not connect.
And Serenity, Urtai on cap. Looks like Serenity's actually switching shells. And that's why he went on the reload temporarily. Did not fire.
High explosive?
High explosive or to heat. I don't know which one he was on in the first place, but he's now switched. Reloading to a different shell.
18 seconds left for the flag cap.
Very rare that you get to see something like that.
Photo finish slowly creeps up in his hold down position. He needs to land this shot.
And that's just as Zazi is getting into position as well. He peeks up and over there. Spotted Serenity is up. Urtai is taking a lot of fire.
But Zazi's taking hits as well. He did not fire once, and he is low on health. Photo finish looking for another opening. Gets a nice shot in Serenity, and there's a full reset on the flag cap.
Now we've got Zoid. I think looking off towards the T-32 might be a focus. Needs to take a lot of pressure. They need to put pressure on Photo Finish. He's in such a dangerous position right now. Artie should put a shot out.
Artie fires at Photo. It's a miss.
That hurts so much. You really need those connections because Photo Finish is in such a dangerous position. T-32 in a hull down at great distance. You cannot close that distance. You cannot engage on him. You have to fire HE, hope to get into his turret, which is not going to happen, by the way. You're not going to be able to pen that when he is at an elevated position.
NYPD's hit. Static takes another hit, along with G-Forcer.
They're in a bad position. They have to be able to back out, but it's going to cost them in hit points to do so. And Drynitz, 2/3 the way through his reload. If these tanks stay in this position, it's that much easier for him to get the connection, to get the hit. Again. And he
fires back 411. Now there's some teeth from eLevate.
Prepare for the shot out from Drynitz. It's going to happen very soon.
Photo finish fires for a miss against Static. Where's that Artie shot?
I'm waiting for
Where's
it.
Zoid?
Drynitz, he fires. There it goes.
339 on a connection against G-Forcer.
Direct hit. That hurt a lot.
Zoid's going to be reloaded. Photo finish is not taking any fire yet.
Where's Zoid? What is he doing? He's only gotten 182 damage in 2 shells.
Yeah,
he needs to fire more often. We need just shells out. We know where the T-32 is. Need to get those connections, but because he's not firing right now, there's a shot out. 328. That's what we're looking for from Zoid.
305. There goes Zazi. Now there is another reset on the flag cap. 2 minutes and 28 seconds. eLevate has to stick to this plan.
It's
too late to move away. Zone Delta
shot out.
Don't see any connection. Static actually got hit for 329. Photo finish was hit earlier.
Zoid's about loaded. Engagement on Drynitz momentarily. We're going to see a little bit of damage there. As Zone Delta, when he moves up, he could close the distance, and while he's not a great hull-down tank, just being that much closer could help, especially on taking pressure off of Static and G-Force, who've taken such a beating already this battle.
20 seconds on the flag cap. Hammer time still has to press forward, and they're the only team that's lost a tank. Now we're starting to see movement.
We're going to see Nits up and over under support with NYPD. Okay, 2 pushes, 2 different directions. You know you have a hit point advantage over eLevate, so you can push.
5 seconds on the flag cap. They need to get the reset. They do. Shot fired from Artie does not connect. Zoid misses. And even more shots are firing back from eLevate to punish these tanks trying to get on that flag cap, or stop that flag cap rather. But the amount of damage eLevate is taking is starting to fall in favor to Hammer Time.
Definitely is. There is still a chance, though, for eLevate. They have to get a few good connections, focus fire well. They have 1 minute and 20 seconds to try and do that. But right now, Hammer Time is holding. They're holding very well, and they're making it count.
There goes NYPD.
That is what they need. Now they can try and press this, but a loss of static is huge for them. That's going to slow them down a lot. Zoid has to get the damage. 539 is not enough.
Oh, big shot from Drynitz. Finally, he takes down Zone Delta. Zoid. So he was unable to get another connection here, and that's going to be a big opening for Hammer Time. Push up.
Wow, that's actually, looking at the damage, 1,985 from Dryness so far. He's already carrying this team in this battle. He is winning at Artie right now.
Azrael 90 pushes up, tries to get a shot against Overlord Prime. That one misses. Firing back is Nitz and Overlord. They both miss Azrael 90. 35 seconds left for eLevate to destroy the remaining tanks or capture the flag. A nigh impossible task here, but they're going to try to do as much damage as they can against these tanks. Because on the flip side, battle number 7, Hammer Time will be on the attack, and eLevate will be on the defense. There's an Artie shot for 253. Big miss from Drynitz against Serenity 17. Big Cheese gets that kill, protecting his Artie piece. Zoid, last tank alive. 10 seconds left. Hammer Time's going to take this. So Zoid definitely needs to fire more often. He was waiting for the spotted tanks, but with that type of position, with that type of firepower, you need to fire more often.
Yes, exactly, and there needs to be better spotting from eLevate.
All right, Hammer Time takes it. They're still in the fight and defensive play, but eLevate is still one battle away from taking in. As I mentioned before, they will be on the defense. How did they look overall when it comes to damage, Randall, at least for Hammer Time?
So Hammer Time, MVP goes to Drynitz, 1,985. He gets 2 kills. Top of that, 10 shots. Half of them are hits for damage, so everything he does in this battle, he is doing it right. He's making shots count, his team is getting tanks spotted, they are staying lit so that he can focus on getting those hits. That's all you have to do when you have an Artie. Just keep stuff in range. Find the targets he wants to shoot. It seems like such a simple thing, but Hammer Time did it so very well. Various targets were staying up for extended periods of time, long enough for him to reload, find the target, settle his reticle, which is massive. Any of you who've played Artie, especially the AMX-13, and then get the shot out and get the connection. He did his job, and he had a lot of help doing that. It was everyone working as a team. As for eLevate in this case, we had an Artie do a good job, 539. That's not enough, and everyone else wasn't doing enough damage either. They went for that cap pressure with an Artie support, which does work at times.
At times it can, but when you're not punishing the enemy team that's poking up like Photo Finish, he was not hindered at all until the about the last 2 minutes of the battle where they pushed one of the tanks in the north. But yeah, if that tank's not taking fire from Artie, he knows it, the enemy team knows it, and they're going to take advantage of that open window. Battle number 7, Steps is still the map. eLevate's up 4 to Hammer Times 2. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Well, 2 T-32s, 1392 RU-251s, T-54 lightweight, and T-37 for eLevate. Hammer Time, 2 1390s, 3 RU-251s, 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. A very light lineup for Hammer Time. So they're going to go fast, try and get to a fight, catch some tanks off guard. Maybe a cap fast. Might not be a bad idea. Or a cap fast with perhaps the entirety of the high tier light tanks going forward to screen. But if you look, choo-choo train to the south.
There is a choo-choo train.
Zone Delta is sharing his extra horses. G-Force are getting into position. Zagarman, though. Zagarman is someone you should be worried about. He is in a T-37, and he is alone.
Blind fire heading into the rocks on the west coming from eLevate.
Not quite. Not quite blind fire. Zagarman had some spotting and actually did get targets. I think Big Cheese may have been one of those spotted. And that actually gives away Hammer Time's intentions, allowing, by the way, for the T-32s, Static and G-Forcer to return north and begin preparing for that defense because they know Hammer Time's coming. Hammer Time could have stayed lower to the ground, farther back, remained undetected for a longer period of time, but they didn't. They got into higher ground, went into those positions, got spotted, and that gave everything away. eLevate now has had more time to react and prepare. And they're putting up blind fire in various directions, looking for just a little early damage, a little free damage here and there. The rest of the team, though, Azrael holding back. Zagarman is stuck a little bit forward. Serenity is returning. The entire group is getting ready for that attack, that Hammer Time blitz that's going to come from the north. That's what they're expecting.
And here's a shift coming from Hammer Time. Photo Finish and NYPD, along with Big Cheese, have left that western position close to the flag cap, and they're now crossing over the open plains into the No Man's Road along the Gulf and now Foxtrot line. I don't know if any turrets from eLevate are pointing in that direction, but if they are, they could be landing a couple shots if these tanks poke back up. Hammer Time's not going to play that way, though. They'd be way too exposed to enemy fire. They're going to head down to the south.
Is spotted. up in the north, maybe taking some fire from that direction. Serenity is kind of watching that direction. He's prepared. But Zagarman, he might be able to spot this.
Tank lineup from Hammer Time, 3 of them. Looking to punish any tanks moving closer to the north
Oh,
to get the reset.
I see what it is. Proxy spotting is what we're expecting, maybe, or maybe a volley.
I think a
towards
volley,
Zagarman.
if eLevate feels like, hey, it's really open, let's push across the open field. A volley coming from NYPD.
No,
Big Chief
check
photo
this, check
finish.
this. When Zagarman goes up and over, watch.
Yep,
Kicks up
right there.
and fire right from the middle.
Right there.
That's it. That's what they're going for, but they need to make the connections.
And now NYPD's going to get punished. Oh,
Right.
he's hit half.
The
Half
jukes.
health. So Garmin goes down.
All right, but they paid for that. Paid a lot. They're going to be able to get a little bit of a gain out of that. You've lost 1 forward observer. That's great. 3 minutes, 59 seconds left in the battle. And NYPD has had to waste a lot of shells. You've got 2 1390s on reload. So do the pros outweigh the cons? Can you follow this up? No, you have to reapproach the situation.
Definitely, especially with the amount of hit points on the board. The gap is not over 1,000, but it's close enough to make a difference, especially with a hit that just hit Overlord Prime from long range. Hammer Time's going to focus more on the flag cap, but they'll still push Photo Finish and Drynitz perhaps a little further south to create that pincer fire, that flank fire that's not expected
crossfire
to come from the south. Crossfire as well.
That's generally the term used.
Drynitz Photo and Big Cheese.
Are they
now
going to do that again?
getting closer to the same position, almost in the same exact position. His Zone Delta's going to move forward.
They are expecting it to happen again. They're lining up. Oh gosh, this is insanity. It's actually insanity.
Well, Zone Delta's on top of the hill. He is a giant bullseye for Hammer Time here.
Get into cover, Zone Delta. There's a wreck right here. And you should be able to find some kind of a safety.
Well, Urtai and Serenity 17 are trying to punish the Big Cheese is low. He falls back.
Ouch.
Zone Delta's low as well. Drynitz still firing at Zone Delta, who has how much health left? 5 hit points.
Yes. That would be 5 hit points.
Still on the base cap, 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Drynitz on the reload. Big Cheese as well.
G-Forcer, nice shot.
Beautiful
Blinded
reset.
NYPD. Blind, by the way. Did not know he was there. Makes that connection. This is how you start dealing with this fast cap that everyone is by this point in the season. They can make these shots blind. They don't have to be able to see the target. They know where it is. They can just picture it, line it up, make the connection. I love it every single time.
Off the cap again, 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
Surprise, surprise, up and over. Ezreal, Serenity, Urtai in the north are going to box out Overlord Prime, take him down. Yes, they're going to leave Zone Delta behind, but he's probably dead anyway. Not worth it.
They're getting closer to the north side. They're leaving their eastern flag exposed, but they need to get this kill against Overlord Prime quickly and then get back into the fight. Serenity 17 is taking some damage as he pushes forward.
Let's see if Overlord can play this one right, if he can make eLevate waste enough time to the point where they're going to be able to make the payoff. Zone Delta goes down, yeah. It's bound to go down anyway. T-32s are grouped up with the rest of the team. They can make an approach back to their southern cap, and they can deal with this. In the meantime, NYPD and Zazie are going to be very annoying.
18 seconds left on the flag cap. eLevate's going to have to get a reset now. Nitz, NYPD, and Zazie are going to try to screen as much as they can. Nitz gets hit. G-Force, Serenity, and Urtai now moving forward. Nitz is hit again. 8 seconds left. They need to get a reset. They have to focus on the reset, and they get it.
And then Urtai. Urtai's going to come in to follow that up, get another reset if he can. He does. But he's taking a lot of damage for that. But now another shot into Big Cheese. Big Cheese going down is going to be huge because of the amount of damage he still possesses in his clip. 4
Photo
shells.
Finish is trying to get in front of him to guard him. Urtai's focused on him. He takes down Drynitz, though. Urtai is destroyed by Photo Finish. Big Cheese with 4 shells left. Static will put the shot on Photo. A bounce coming from Big Cheese. Photo gets behind Static. Another big shot from Big Cheese. One more shot, Static to take him down, but Photo Finish gets the kill. 2 tanks remain. 31 seconds left for eLevate. 3 tanks for Hammer Time. Hammer Time can still do this, but G-Forcer takes down Big Cheese. 2 tanks remain. Photo Finish and Zazie now need to be on the push to destroy what's left of eLevate.
G-Force gets a track shot.
Can't
Pauses
get
and
it.
he has to burn his kit, though.
Has to get out of there. He
He's
has to get out of
pinned.
there and readjust. He has 12 seconds left. Zazie's going to move up against Azrael. 90 gets the kill. eLevate is 1 take away from just taking the win. 5 seconds left to go for the defenders. G-Forcer hits a shot into the ground. 2, 1. eLevate does it. eLevate is going to San Francisco in the finals.
Fantastic. I love it. I love the way they handled the situation you saw, especially in this last battle. eLevate doing everything right. Now, I got to give it to Hammer Time. The trap in the middle to take down the T-37, loved it. After that, they try it again, baiting the same situation. eLevate realizes, wait, they might be going for the same thing again. This could be their trap. Let's turn that around on them. Once you know what's happening, then you send that T-54 up forward. He's going to take a lot of damage, yes, but you make him pay for it. After that, you have the defensive position, eLevate. So eLevate, even though they lose more hit points than they're able to trade out, reducing Hammer Time's overall health pool makes it better for you in the long run because of your T-32s. When it comes to the later game, look at how difficult it is for Hammer Time to deal with static. It takes them forever to do this. They lose numerous tanks in that attack. They quickly lose momentum, especially after the cap is stopped. They are able to take down other light tanks. But look, Azrael at the very end, that 1390, full clip, almost full health. It's over.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That battle could go on for a very long time, and eLevate had every reason to win.
Very well played. Very well played from both teams. This is a big victory for eLevate, formerly known as Bernal Empires, going to the finals. This is huge, and we have Zoid standing by for a post-game interview. Zoid, tell me, what is this feeling like right now?
Oh my God, we are so happy right now. We worked so hard this season. We started off so badly to come together and get our trip to San Francisco and to be playing for this much money now. I mean, it's difficult to tell you exactly how excited we are as a team right now.
What are comms like?
I muted TeamSpeak. There was a lot of shouting. There was a lot of great job, guys. A couple profanities thrown around in excitement, but we're so excited. I can't wait to continue our run. We've been working so hard at the end of this season, and I really think we can go far in San Francisco now.
It's definitely paid off. What do you plan to do to prepare for San Francisco?
Well, I mean, we're going to keep working hard. I think that's really the key to this game. This is a game where strategy, knowing your opponent, knowing what the current meta is and how to adapt to what you see is king. So we're going to continue doing that. We're going to continue researching our opponents, and we're going to do everything we can to win.
Now, I saw you guys also being able to adapt on the fly. That last battle, you needed comms. I wanted to check real quick, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So we saw one of your T-37s go down very quickly after going up and over a trap to Hammer Time. You followed that up with a T-54 going over and then set your own trap. Who's the mastermind behind eLevate in battle number 7 there?
So we have a lot of guys that spend a lot of time stratting this game, but when it comes to actual in-game calls, that's pretty much all Zone Delta, and he does a fantastic job knowing when to micro us, when to macro us, and I can't give that guy enough credit. I tried to call this game when we were in Silver League, when we had this merger. I said, you know what, you're so much better at this. I'm not even going to throw my hat in the ring as a caller. I can't say enough how great the leadership on this team is.
Zoid, what would you like to say to your fans?
I want to thank our sponsors really quick because they've helped support us this whole season. They're going to be supporting us in San Francisco. So Razer, Scuff, G Fuel, G2A, Control Freak, Esportsify, Multiplay, and Ponentware. Big shout out to all of you guys for helping us over at eLevate.gg. To the fans, to all you guys who interact with us on Twitter, who stop and watch our streams, who watch our YouTube videos. You know, you guys make this so much more enjoyable. The interaction with fans makes esports successful. And I can't thank you guys enough, and I hope you enjoy watching us as much as we enjoy having you watching us.
Very well said, Zoid. Again, a huge congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you.
We'll see you in San Francisco.
That's right.
All right, man. You could see the amount of joy that was exuding from Zoid. I'm very happy for that team, especially for their record from Bernal Empires. A team, last time we saw them play on stage was in Poland, and they had a tough time against the European crowd. I mean, the crowd loved them, but they had a tough time against the European teams there.
And you could see it on GeForce's face. He was so nervous. He was not prepared for a crowd that fanatic and that energetic.
Definitely.
I mean, anyone would be afraid up there. So with that experience now and all this full season, you've got some new players as a part of the team. eLevate's looking fantastic. What are you thinking they're going to look like when we see them on stage in San Francisco?
Well, against the Cunninghams, I think that's going to be a wonderful series, and you don't want to miss it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket overall of who's going to be joining us in San Francisco at the Folsom Street Foundry. The first matchup for the semifinals will be Simp versus eLevate. Following that will be eLevate versus the Cunninghams. And then the last match of that night will be the finals to determine who's going to take home the first place prize. The total prize pool for the event, $171,000. That's quite a chunk of change.
And both matches are just perfect. There's so much history around the two teams that are fighting on each match. so much history around them being in finals. The storylines are so beautiful.
Especially
for this.
the revenge
Yes.
for Simp against I Love Lamp, a team joining us for the first time in the Gold League. We're able to beat the number one team. And now, with formerly Bernal Empires, now eLevate, they're going to be going up against Cunningham's, a team that they've always had trouble with, at least in the past, to try to maybe see if they can move past the old Bernal Empires and now really harness the power of eLevate. So I'm really looking forward to it as well. We want to see everybody there in San Francisco. It's at the Folsom Street Foundry in downtown San Fran on March 15th. That's a Sunday. Free entry, plenty of prizes, and we are going to have such a good time. We did last time in season 3 for the finals there. A lot of wargaming people will be there as well. Get to shake hands with probably Ute. He'll be there.
Oscar, don't forget
as
about.
well.
You're going to have Hypnotic, the guy who's made the fantasy website for any of you guys who are checking that one out during this season. And, of course, anybody who's on the team, don't forget to say hi. Don't be shy, of course, and bring an umbrella. It rains.
Definitely.
Always
Randall,
rains.
it's been an absolute pleasure to commentate with you. And a special thank you to Frodan and Greetorp as well for joining us on the set. Great season. We now get to find out who's going to be our champion on March 15th. Any closing thoughts before we take the desk once again in March?
This season has been probably my favorite of every single one thus far. The new format's been amazing. Everyone out there's been amazing, especially those of you who are fans. I really appreciate it, the fact that you guys are willing to interact like this, because it is so much fun.
He's going to be at PAX Prime for Wargaming. Until then, we want to say a huge thank you to everybody that watched and supported the WGLNA for Season 5. We're going to be back live in San Francisco on March 15th. You don't want to miss it. On behalf of everybody here at the studio, thanks for watching. Good night and good game.